This year, the City of Atlanta made history, electing 4 members of the City Council who are... This year, the City of Atlanta made history, electing 4 members of the City Council who are openly part of the LGBTQ community. Liliana Bakhtiari, Keisha Waits, Alex Wan, and Matt Westmoreland now represent 1 in 4 of the council's 16 members. Malik Brown, the director of the mayor's division of LGBTQ affairs, sat down recently with each of them to discuss the impact of this important moment.
When you were first elected, you were the first openly gay man and the only LGBTQ person at the time. What does it feel like today, coming into a council chamber of 3 other LGBTQ people? How does that feel?
I feel like all the work that I've done over the last, it's 3 decades now. No, but seriously, in the LGBTQ community, has been around just championing all the principles and values that we've been trying to champion around equality. To have all 4 of us on here means that that work is starting to pay off, and that voices that are so critical to our process, voices in our community that have not been heard and have not been given the opportunity to express themselves and be part of the dialogue, are now part of the dialogue.
So when I look at your resume, particularly around nonprofits, there's a particular focus on youth. Can you tell me why you're so passionate about youth?
I just really appreciate and fundamentally believe that they're our future. I also feel like they are so much more receptive. They are open-minded, they are curious. Let's take advantage of that. Let's tap into that and show them that anything is possible.
Good morning, Councilmember Bakhtiari. You are in your freshman term as a council member. Can you tell us how that feels?
I'm still getting used to it. When people say council member instead of Liliana, it's still very confusing and surreal, but I love it. It's chaotic, which my past prepped me for. This is where childhood trauma comes into play in like a positive way. It makes you really good at functioning in chaotic environments. But suddenly having the ability to have resources and be connected to people who can like move mountains in the city is a tremendous privilege, and it's really exciting.
With this recent inauguration, we swore in 4 openly LGBTQ people. Can you tell us how that feels?
Well, it's really nice to have people who understand it and who understand the challenges, and also now it's more of a discussion with our straight colleagues who all seem very eager to be the best allies they can be. So getting to talk about that, also getting to talk about my own non-binary and gender fluid status, and I'm growing into that. I'm going to be going through a lot of changes over the next few years. And having this caucus on council makes me feel much safer doing so, because not a lot of people understand that identities are stackable. Not a lot of people understand gender fluidity or feeling in between or struggles with gender dysphoria. So 1, it makes me feel seen and makes me feel safe to talk about it. But at the same time, it also is an opportunity to have these conversations in this environment and from this platform and make it something that's more commonplace and make people understand that this is like anybody has the possibility, no matter your identity, to hold a position like this. So we get to make this conversation more mainstream, which makes a lot of other kids feel seen.
Can you tell us the change in the state and the city that you've seen as far as tolerance and accepting, and even just where the LGBTQ community is versus when you started your service?
One of the changes that come to mind for me probably is when you look at our pride. I believe we probably have one of the largest pride celebrations in the country. And I've seen that grow over the years. And one of the things that I always talked about on the campaign trail is that my understanding of the needs and issues of the LGBTQ community don't come from reading the paper. I don't go to Pride to campaign. I celebrate Pride. I am Pride. And so it's a little bit different. And frankly, it's just seeing the evolution, having friends who were not as open-minded, having parents who were in fact homophobic, and watching them evolve over the years and their level of tolerance and and the healing that's taken place in my family, I think is important. I have 2 siblings that are out and open LGBTQ members. I had a brother that I lost several years ago in 1991 to the virus. And so Hopwell work is very dear and personal to someone like me. And so, again, I get to wake up every day and live my truth and, frankly, to do work that I really care about. And so that's exciting.
You've touched on this, and especially in 2022, we talk a lot about intersectional identities. Can you talk about the intersection of being a Black woman and a member of the LGBTQ community and how that shows up in your work?
The way that I describe that is that I am no stranger to alienation. I am no stranger to being underestimated and overlooked. And so as a triple minority, being a woman, first being an African-American woman, and then certainly, having the tag of the stigma for some, being LGBTQ is tough. And that's not an easy walk.
So on the eve of your inauguration, you came out. It was shocking to some people and I think heartwarming to most. Can you talk about what that felt like in that process and how it's been since?
Honestly, I wrestled with that decision. The fact that the content was so personal, the desire to live in a world where such pronouncements aren't necessary, fear that people would look at who I chose to be with and that would somehow impact how they viewed me or my public service. But honestly, part of what drove me to do it was looking at students, like the ones I had taught at Carver or the ones across Atlanta who maybe have ever struggled themselves with being authentic and real and truthful, either with themselves or with others. And if my public statements can help them in whatever they might be struggling with, I thought that was something that I definitely wanted to do.
So there was something that you said in your coming out statement that to the effect of you hope to live in a world where people don't have to do this anymore. Can you just build on that and tell me what you meant?
I hope we one day live in a world where people don't really look twice at 2 guys as they're holding hands, just as hopefully they won't look twice at an interracial couple doing the same thing. We're not there yet. We've made a tremendous amount of progress. I'm living into and coming into a world that's very different than it was for people 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And I'm very fortunate about that. And I think we'll keep making progress.
I'm just thankful that the people of Atlanta have given me an opportunity to do work on behalf of the city. I'm looking forward to working with my new colleagues. Some of them have been friends of mine for a long time. Some of them are people who I've just met in the last few weeks, and I look forward to doing wonderful things on behalf of the city of Atlanta. I'm been an advocate and an organizer fighting for communities on one side of this kind of conversation, but I recognize that there are a lot of systems, a lot of processes, a lot of just knowledge that I have not been privy to, that I look forward to being able to learn about the histories, the ideas, just the stories that really have made the city what it is. And I look forward to learning from people who've been here for years or for decades in some cases. And I think it's important to help bridge the gap between the old and the new, the past and the future. We have to have positive relationships and even potentially friendships to move our city forward.
here because once again, Atlanta is making history. We have opened up Unity Place, the first in the nation, one-of-a-kind housing for police recruits. So that's why we are here now. We are giving our recruits some place to stay, actually in one of our most vibrant communities. As we talk about community policing, we must give the officer a chance and opportunity to get to know the community. Once you're on call, once you're working, you really don't have that opportunity. But here now, at the beginning of their training, they have an opportunity to actually live amongst the neighbors, to actually live amongst the people that they will actually be protecting. So this is why it is very important. They're very excited about having the police officers in their neighborhood. First and foremost, it gives them a sense of security. And then once again, it also gives the neighborhood an opportunity to get to know the officer, because it goes both ways. The neighborhood has to know the officer as well as the officer knowing the neighborhoods. This is a catalyst with everything, even with America being pioneers. We have shown and proven that this can work and will work. So now it gives other people the possibility to actually go off and do something different. Don't stop with the police. Don't stop with the police. We have firemen, we have teachers, we have public safety workers, public workers. So let's start this and let this be the catalyst for us moving forward, doing other great things throughout the city such as this.
What this day means to me. Everything. I get to build on my family's legacy. My family came here with nothing, and the first time I ran, my father asked me why I was doing this to myself. This is something I've been working towards for years, representing my community, and I never thought I would get to be able to do that with my whole self. So it's still just, I'm just so excited. I'm so looking forward to learning from the people that have been here before us, that are currently on council, the veterans that have already been so helpful and helping us navigate who to talk to, the commissioners to get to know, how to pass and draft legislation, all of these pieces on how to just function and be our best selves on council. I think the thing I am most excited about is
Mr. Johnson?
Good morning, council member.
Good morning. Today is March 7th, and this is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Committee on Council. I am Andrea Boone, chair of this committee, and I would like to welcome everyone who has joined us this morning. Mr. Johnson, will you please conduct the roll call?
Yes, Madam Chair. Councilmember Andrea Boone.
Present.
Mayor Faroki. Here. Councilmember Dustin Hillis. Here. Councilmember Antonio Lewis. Here. Councilmember Mary Norwood.
Here.
Councilmember Howard Shook.
Aye.
Councilmember Matt Westmoreland. Here. Madam Chair, you have a quorum present.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. The Committee on Council recommends on matters pertaining to the operation of the Atlanta City Council, executive branch appointments confirmed by the council, ethics issues such as conflict of interest, revision, codification, and clarification of ordinances and resolutions, council agenda, elections, rules, conduct, and decorum of the council and members, and procedures for the office of City Council and the office of Municipal Clerk. Mr. Johnson, will you please read our remote meeting statement?
This Committee on Council meeting is being conducted remotely as advertised and as in accordance with the Georgia Code 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting by dialing 902-5066, conference ID 151945, which was noted on the March 4th, 2022 Council's homepage at citycouncil.atlantaga.gov, the Council's YouTube channel, or the Council's Facebook and Twitter pages via @ATL Council. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council Committee on Council presentation page. The agenda was published and made available on March 4th, 2022 via atlantacitygA.iqn2.com. In addition, the public was able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6059 between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. the day before this meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Additionally, speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and minimize the screen. Amendments, substitutes, and informational documents have been distributed to committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Antonio Lewis moved. Antonio second.
Mary Forward, second. We have a motion by Councilmember Lewis and a second by Councilmember Mary Norwood. Please open the vote.
One moment. The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Shook votes aye.
Boone is yes.
The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda has been adopted.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Westmoreland moves. Second.
Westmoreland is the motion, and our second is Mr. Faroki, Councilmember Faroki. Please.
The vote is open.
Boone, yes.
Shook aye.
Councilmember Lewis, how do you vote?
Yes.
The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The minutes have been approved.
Is there a motion to adopt the full council agenda?
Westmoreland moves. Second.
Westmoreland and Shook is the second. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? Councilmember Lewis, how do you vote?
I voted yes. I thought I voted on the screen.
Noted. Councilmember Boone, how do you vote?
Yes.
The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The full council agenda has been adopted.
Mr. Johnson, do we have any public comments?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have one public comment for a total of 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Please play the public comment. Thank you.
Give it unto free and Christ. My name is Henri Jordan. Let favor be shewed to the wicked. Yeah, will he not learn righteousness in the land of uprightness? Will he deal unjustly and will not behold the majesty of the Lord? Isaiah 26, chapter 10, verse. The call to God expresses both David's trust and his human weakness. David received God's chastisement. Will you? When you don't, then you ask for death, Dave Montgomery. That he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might by his spirit in the inner man. Ephesians 3, chapter 16, verse. That they will be strengthened with might by his spirit, that is, that they be divine and able to successfully live the Christian life. But thou hast saved us from our enemies, and hast put them to shame that hated us. Psalms 44, chapter
you, Mr. Johnson. We are ready for our communications.
One moment. That takes us to Section H, Communications. Item number 1, 22C, 5025. A communication from Councilmember Amir Arfarohi, District 2, appointing Mr. Scott Thorpe to serve as a member of the Atlanta Commission on Fatherhood, Men and Boys. This appointment is for a term of 2 years.
Mr. Johnson, do we have Mr. Scott Thorpe on the line? Mr. Thorpe?
Madam Chair, he's currently trying to get online. We can continue on with the agenda until he can get on the line. We can just go back to item number 1.
Thank you. Next item.
Item number 2, 22C, 5027. A communication from Councilmember Mary Norwood, District 8, appointing Mr. Zach Gober to serve as a member of the Alcohol Technical Advisory Group 3. This item was favorable by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee on February 28, 2022.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have been approved, made a motion by Councilmember Norwood and a second by Councilmember Matt Westmoreland. Please open the vote.
One moment. Will everyone please vote? The vote is open.
Boone, yes.
Councilmember Lewis, how do you vote?
Lewis, yes.
Councilmember Shook, how do you vote?
Aye.
The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Next item.
That takes us to Section I, Ordinance for second reading. Madam Chair, this item needs to be substituted. Can we get a motion to bring forth a substitute so I can read the substituted caption? The substitute adds corrective language and the updated precinct maps.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
No, we do not currently.
Motion
Mr.
to
Johnson. Mr. Amos?
Go ahead. No, it's Westmoreland. Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Please proceed.
Madam Chair, we need a second.
Wait a second. This is Westmoreland. I'll make a motion to hold this piece of legislation.
Second by Boone. Please open the vote.
One moment. Madam Chair, we need to bring forth a substitute first. Then we can hold the paper.
Motion to bring forward the substitute.
For the substitute. And second by Matt Westmoreland. Mr. Westmoreland. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Shook votes aye.
Councilmember Lewis, how do you vote?
Yes.
The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before you. Item number 3, 22-01150. A substitute ordinance by Committee on Council, an ordinance to amend City of Atlanta Code of Ordinance Section 66-2, precinct boundary lines and polling places by amending the 2017 Precincts and Polling Places Ordinance in Fulton County Precinct 02L2, 03I, 03C, 06R, 07M, 08A, 08G, and 11 are due to facilities unable to accommodate polling operations, facility undergoing renovations, and facility voting site is not handicap accessible, and for other purposes.
Do we have a motion to hold this item?
Madam President, or Chair, I'm happy to make that motion. I got a little confused, and I thought we were on the next item, and so I don't know if this one needs to move forward. The clerk may know.
This item is to be held.
Motion to hold Westmoreland.
Second. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? Councilmember Shook, how do you vote?
Aye.
The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is held. Madam Chair, we can go back to item number 1. We have Mr. Scott Thorpe on our line. May I read the caption once again, just for the record?
Yes.
Item number 1, 22C, 5025, a communication from Councilmember Amir R. Faroki, District 2, appointing Mr. Scott Thorpe to serve as a member of the Atlanta Commission on Fatherhood, Men and Boys. This appointment is for a term of 2 years.
Mr. Scott Thorpe. Mr. Thorpe,
Yes, I'm here.
welcome to the Atlanta City Council Committee on Council meeting. You have been nominated to serve on the Atlanta Fatherhood Commission for Men and Boys. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. We'd like to hear from you, sir.
Yeah, I'm excited about this opportunity. I am a former health director from South Carolina and grew up in Atlanta and moved back home about a year ago. And am also myself a father of a 2-year-old, actually. I'm really excited at the opportunity to bring the public health expertise that I have and the experience I have working in school systems around public health to this kind of work, and strengthening networks of both fathers and young men across the city to create a better Atlanta. And I'm just really excited to be involved in that.
Thank you, Mr. Thorpe. Thank you, and thank you for your interest in serving. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Faroki.
Do we have a second?
Sure.
Second, Norwood. We have a motion for approval by Councilmember Faroki and a second by Councilmember Shook. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable.
Again, thank you, Mr. Thorpe, for your interest.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, that takes us to item number 4, 22-0-1184, an ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond to amend the charter of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, 1996, Georgia laws, P44-69, adopted under and by virtue of the authority of the Municipal Home Rule Act of 1965, Official Code of Georgia, Section 3635-1, as amended by amending Part 1, Article 2, Chapter 2, so as to amend Section 2-203 to prohibit appointments wherein a council member could contend for the same appointment and for other purposes.
Do we have a motion for this item?
Westmoreland, I'll make a motion to hold. Second, Faroki.
We have a motion to hold by Councilmember Westmoreland and a second by Councilmember Faroki. Please open the vote.
One moment. The vote is open.
Are we voting to hold the bill?
Yes, this is to hold.
Will everyone please vote? Councilmember, how do you vote?
I'm sorry, did you get shook? Shook both sides.
Yes. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 1 nay. This item is held.
Next item, Mr. Johnson.
That takes us to Section J, Resolutions, 22R 3246. A resolution by Committee on Council appointing council members blank, blank, and blank as the 3 members of the Atlanta City Council to serve as the representatives of the City of Atlanta, Atlanta Public Schools Joint Committee, with said term to begin upon approval of this resolution and for other purposes. And Madam Chair, this item needs to be amended. The amendment adds council members Byron Amos, Liliana Bakhtiari, and Alex Wan to serve as the representatives of the Joint Committee.
Do we have a motion to amend this item?
So moved. Westmoreland. Second, Hill.
Please open the vote.
One moment, the vote is open.
Shook both sides.
Will everyone please vote? Councilmember Lewis, how do you vote? The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The amendment has been approved.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Madam Chair, we need to make a motion to approve as amended.
Motion to approve as amended.
Westmoreland. Second, Boone.
One moment. The vote is open.
Shook both sides.
Councilmember Lewis, how do you vote? Councilmember Norwood, how do you vote?
I vote yes. Sorry.
The vote is closed. Yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable as amended. And Madam Chair, that concludes our legislative items for today's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Do we have any other questions, concerns, or comments? We would like to wish Councilmember Vice Chair Mary Norwood a happy birthday, and also Councilmember of District 5, Liliana Bakhtiari, wishing them a happy birthday. Also, maps are still available for internal use in the Phoenix conference room at this time. Please feel free to view those maps, and one-on-one meetings will be scheduled in the very near future. Do we have any other questions or concerns?
Madam Chair, I wanted to just mention to the committee that you and I are meeting with the council office to go over the base list, and that we've both been working very diligently on getting an analysis of all of the appointments, not only the ones that need to be made, but which ones have met, haven't met, which ones are completely empty, because there are some of those. And so we will be doing that this week, and I look forward to your leadership in our reporting back out to the committee.
Thank you, Vice Chair Norwood, and I believe that meeting is scheduled for this coming Wednesday. Is that correct?
Yes.
Come in when.
Yes. Yes, Madam Chair. Yes, it is.
Do we have any other questions, concerns, or comments from the body? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
This meeting is adjourned of the Committee on Council, March 7th. Thank you.